place was like just filled with chicks and like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried.
What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older. His older brother. We used to fight over the.
It's looking way messier for Usher than anyone ever imagined, because the streets are buzzing that his ex-wife, Tameka Foster, just dropped a bomb. She's allegedly claiming Usher's got way more STDs than the world ever knew.
All these industry people know that Diddy been acting like this and doing this and try to engage other men into acts with him. There was story that he was trying to get Chris Brown. There's stories about, those those young boys that he had, a group B5 or something like that, trying to get them. Yo, it's a lot of stories that goes around in this industry.
People have heard the wild whispers about him supposedly being tangled up with Diddy back in the day, but now fresh tea says Usher was allegedly out here passing that thing around with multiple men. And brace yourself. The list of infections he's been battling over the years is apparently long. Now, I don't know about you, but hearing that Usher might be carrying a whole lineup of STDs was not what I expected for 2025. Sure, the herpes allegations have been floating around forever, but these other ones? They're new. And if Tameka's claims are true, some of them date all the way back to when he was in Diddy's so-called flavor camp. Here's where it gets even crazier. Rewind to when Usher first got signed by L.A. Reid. He was just a kid, not even in his teens yet, already showing insane talent. But when puberty hit, his voice cracked and talk started about dropping him. Usher wasn't having it. He fought to stay in the game. Instead of cutting him loose, Reid decided to send him to stay with his friend. And that friend just happened to be Diddy. Usher was only 13 when he moved into Diddy's place. And that's where some people say the story takes a sharp and suspicious turn. From the jump, it was obvious that Diddy's spot was not the kind of place any 13-year-old should have been calling home. The man was knee-deep in the party scene, and Usher found himself surrounded by things no kid should even be near. And here's the thing, Usher rarely says much about that time under Diddy's roof, like it's a chapter he's locked away and thrown out the key. But during a sit-down with Howard Stern, he let a few details slip, and those details had people's eyebrows hitting the ceiling. The way he painted that picture was enough to make alarms go off loud and clear. Turns out, we weren't imagining the red flags, because Diddy's own former bodyguard, Gene Deal, spoke out too. In his interview, he claimed plenty of folks in the industry knew Diddy was allegedly into both younger girls and boys. Yet most stayed silent, pretending nothing was happening. And here's the most shocking part. Whispers say Usher may have allegedly contracted herpes during one of those so-called freak-off sessions when he was just 15, a claim that's got people talking all over again. Word on the street is Kim Porter knew all about the situation and was even planning to spill it in a tell-all book before she passed away. But here's where it gets wild. People are saying Diddy himself doesn't even have herpes, which means he might not have been the only one allegedly doing shady things to Usher during those freak-off nights. The whispers go as far as claiming Diddy could have been passing Usher around to other men in those rooms. And with the long list of names tied to those freak-offs, along with the jaw-dropping stories about what went down, it's not shocking that Usher might have picked up something nasty in the mix. Now, the buzz is that Tameka just put him on blast for allegedly having not just one, but multiple STIs over the years. And honestly, some folks aren't even shocked, because Usher's been known to keep things extra spicy. Fans haven't forgotten the wild, cherry routines he used to pull at his concerts, or the times he'd serenade someone in the crowd until things got way too steamy. Behind closed doors, the rumor mill's been spinning for years, saying Usher's got a freaky streak that doesn't quit, and allegedly, that's exactly how he ended up with more than one STD. And the wildest twist? These alleged infections didn't slow him down one bit. Multiple women have claimed he knowingly gave them herpes without saying a word about his health. One of them, Laura Helm, went as far as filing a $20 million lawsuit, accusing him of exposing her during an encounter. Luckily for her, she tested negative, but she still fought the case, saying he put her in real danger of catching something for life. The case blew up fast, turning into a headline-making scandal that had Usher's image taking hit after hit. Just when everyone thought the storm around Usher couldn't get any messier, another name slid into the conversation. And this one's got the internet buzzing. Rumor has it some of the same high-profile men who were spotted at Diddy's infamous freak-off gatherings might also have crossed paths with Usher in ways that weren't exactly innocent. These whispers are sending shockwaves through the industry because a few of those men are still household names today. What's even more jaw-dropping is that insiders claim there's actual proof floating around, videos, pictures, even text messages, locked away by people who are scared to leak them. Why? Because the names tied to these receipts are supposedly worth millions, and spilling them could blow the doors wide open on a much bigger Hollywood scandal. And if that's not enough to keep people talking, there's another layer to this mess. A source close to Tameka is saying she's sitting on even more tea than she's shared so far. Word is, she's got medical records, private messages, and even old photos from the Diddy era that could back up everything she's been hinting at. Now fans are wondering if she's holding on to all this as leverage, or if she's building up to drop it all in one massive tell-all moment. Either way, the tension is thick, and every new leak only seems to make Usher's situation look worse. Now here's where things start getting real shady, because the whispers aren't just about random unknowns anymore. People are throwing around initials, and they're not small names. One insider is hinting that a certain R&B legend, a chart-topping rapper, and even a well-known actor from a hit TV drama were all allegedly in the mix at those wild freak-off nights. The way it's being told, these weren't just casual parties. They were full-blown, anything-goes sessions, with no cameras allowed inside, at least not officially. But here's the catch. Apparently, someone was secretly filming parts of these nights, and those clips didn't just disappear. Word is, a few of them ended up in private collections belonging to people who could ruin careers in a heartbeat. What makes this even crazier is that some of these men are still out here presenting themselves as squeaky clean family guys. They've got brand deals, big movie roles, and huge tours lined up, which is why the thought of their names getting linked to Diddy's parties is enough to make Hollywood panic. And here's the kicker. A source says Tameka's not the only one with dirt. There are other people from inside Diddy's old circle who've been keeping their mouths shut. But now, with all this heat on Diddy, they might start talking just to save themselves. If that happens, Usher might not be the only one dragged into the fire. This could turn into a full-blown celebrity takedown. The streets are saying the dam is about to break because one of Diddy's former insiders is allegedly ready to flip and spill everything. This isn't just some random hanger-on either. This person was close enough to see exactly who walked into those rooms, what went down, and who left with who. If they talk, it could connect the dots between Usher, Diddy, and a string of other high-profile names in ways nobody's ready for. Rumor has it, this insider has already been in quiet talks with a major media outlet, the kind that doesn't publish a single word without ironclad proof. And according to whispers, they've got just that. Text chains, travel logs, and even blurred screenshots of those infamous nights. The only reason nothing's dropped yet? They're allegedly negotiating for a six-figure payout before handing anything over. Meanwhile, people online are digging through old clips and interviews, pointing out moments where Usher or Diddy might have accidentally hinted at these wild parties. Some fans swear you can see the discomfort in Usher's face anytime the topic of his teenage years with Diddy comes up, like he knows the questions are getting too close. If this insider really does come forward, the ripple effect could be insane, not just for Usher and Diddy, but for anyone who's ever been connected to those parties. And with the way this story keeps growing, it's feeling less like if the truth comes out, and more like when. Then, out of nowhere, Laura Helm suddenly dropped her case. No explanation, no statement, just gone. That move had a lot of people side-eyeing the situation, wondering if she might have been quietly paid off to avoid a bigger, nastier mess from coming to light. But just when folks thought that chapter was closing, 2 more women stepped forward with lawsuits against Usher, accusing him of exposing them to herpes without telling them about his status. They claimed that because Usher kept that information to himself, they couldn't give proper consent. They didn't even know the full risk they were walking into by being with him. One of these women stayed anonymous, later testing positive for the virus. The second, Quantasia Sharpton, tested negative, but she still took him to court. Quantasia said she'd been with Usher just after turning 19. While she didn't contract herpes, she was furious about the potential danger he put her and her young child in. For her, it wasn't just about whether she caught anything. It was about what she called Usher's complete lack of accountability and respect. And it didn't stop there. Another woman, identified only as Jane Doe, filed her own separate lawsuit, accusing Usher of the exact same thing. That case stayed mostly off the public radar because, according to reports, Usher quietly settled it before it could blow up. Allegedly, he handed over $1.1 million to keep the details locked away and avoid another PR disaster. But here's where it gets extra suspicious. While Diddy's trial was in full swing, Usher's name kept coming up in connection to the case. And right around the time Dawn Richard gave her testimony, Usher suddenly wiped every single post from his Twitter account. Fans were quick to connect the dots, guessing there might have been something on his page that could have linked him to Diddy, and that Dawn maybe knew more than she'd said publicly. Turns out, Dawn had actually named Usher in her lawsuit against Diddy last year, claiming he knew Diddy was allegedly putting hands on Cassie and didn't do a thing. In court documents, she described a dinner at a West Hollywood restaurant hosted by Diddy, with guests like Nio, Usher, and Adam Levine in attendance. That night, Diddy and Cassie argued in front of everyone, and at one point, Diddy was accused of forcefully punching Cassie in the stomach, making her double over in pain. Cassie was escorted out, and Diddy stayed behind, carrying on like nothing happened. So when Usher deleted his tweets, fans were convinced he was scrubbing potential evidence. Usher tried to play it off, saying, "Account got hacked and you ran with it. See you tonight at Intuit Dome." But let's be real, the timing had people side-eyeing him harder than ever. And now, with these fresh claims about him allegedly spreading STDs, the question is, what exactly was in those old posts that made him panic enough to erase everything? Whatever it was, it had to be bad. Real bad. And now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you really think about this whole situation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update. Because something tells me this story is far from over.